I was thinking a little bit about when you're talking about just busyness of
Yeah.
musicians in worship. There's kind of a musician or worship leader maturity that is developing within each and every one of us. And, I think early on, like you said, a lot of it is it's a self-confidence thing, self-image thing, stage presence, maturity thing. I don't know, I'm throwing a bunch of terms together, but early on for myself as a worship leader, I felt like I had to be playing all the time because I was like nervous but excited. And, I'm like, I gotta keep the song moving. Like once the train's left the station, it's my job as the leader to like keep it going. And it took me a while, but I started realizing like the less I do, like the better it is. The less I do as a guitarist, the better it is. I remember earlier on, a guest musician came in, Aaron Anderson. He was the lead singer of Eyewitness. And this was after Eyewitness days, but he came in to do a wedding. And I remember he played the song and it was so simple, like the way he played it. And I remember that just stuck out to me. I'm like, man, he's not like strumming hard and fast. And I know guitar is a different thing than piano, but similar idea here. And that hit me like, man, I am playing way too hard and too fast, and not even a tempo thing, just a strumming thing. And I feel like I always have to be moving. And I feel like it's a similar thing for piano, like Nolan was talking about earlier. And I had to learn that vocally too. There's a lot of songs that we do in worship that we cover, if you will, that are brand new songs from new bands that have come out. And sometimes like there's the lead line, he'll do a runoff and it's kind of a little more fancier performance-y, if you will, that I just simplify. I'll still sing the melody the same, but I'll simplify it overall vocally, to try to make it simple. I mean, the whole point is we want this large congregation to come along with us in a worship experience. And if I'm singing something that's just hard to follow, it's got all these moving vocal lines and parts, like that's going to be harder to follow for your average worshiper. And we have people in there that love to sing, and then we have people in there that will never sing, and then everywhere in between. So we have to be structuring and leading in a way that's speaking to that large variety of people that are in the room, or especially online now worshiping with us. And so that's, even just from a worship leading standpoint, it's so key to do that, to simplify things. And you drew the difference between simplifying and dumbing down. We're not dumbing down. We are simplifying for a variety of reasons, for the church to be able to follow along well, for our band to sound better and cleaner and less parts arguing with each other. There's just a lot of different reasons to simplify things.
Yeah, and I think especially with guitar, like we've got this misconception that more is more.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of worship leaders start learning guitar. A lot of musicians learn guitar from playing around a campfire at Bible camp or something like that. And when you've got, when you work at camp, it's like anybody who knows how to hold a guitar is a guitar player for those campfires. Like, oh, you have a guitar, you're playing.
That's how I started. My buddy's like, how many chords you know? And I was like, 2. Sweet, come down to campfire worship, bring your guitar. I was like, what? No, okay. That was the beginning of it.
And that's such a big difference, because you've got anywhere from, I don't know, 4 or 5-year-olds all the way up to high schoolers who are awkward and not sure why they're there. And so it's like just loud and jumping and dancing around, being goofy, sometimes showing off even like that. And then we carry that into our worship leadership at churches, which is a whole different game. So there's a place for that, right? But worship leading is just a different thing, just like organ playing is a different thing, and piano in worship is a different thing. So you just have to take that, but it's hard because you've done that for years and you're trying to do this. Well, I'm playing guitar, just this constant thing. So I think overall a good message would be less is more. And that's the rule, not the exception. There's always going to be exceptions, but if you're just looking for a fast.
Yeah. One story we did during worship, this is probably, I don't know, towards the beginning of COVID. Maybe it was this last summer, I guess, is a little bit into it, but I got a text from one of our members saying, hey, worship sounded great online. Like it was awesome. But like that one song, I couldn't really hear acoustic guitar. And so I was, just curious, whatever, and just letting you know, and wasn't complaining at all. We talk about worship sound every week, so it was just fine. But and I just explained, hey, go click on that song on Spotify, or on YouTube for that matter. Watch their live band as they do it. You're going to see two guitars playing, and tell me if you hear them. And he's like, oh, okay. And then he did, and I go, that's just one of those songs that's more drawn towards piano, towards electric guitar, some of the electric lines. You just don't hear a lot of acoustic. And this was during worship that he was texting me, and I said, just wait till the last song. And the last song was Lay Me Down. And Lay Me Down has a huge guitar like driving behind it. So guitar was the leading instrument then that you heard in the mix. So again, there's just, everybody has their part in their place to play and lead in the band, and knowing where that is, kind of that worship leader maturity we were talking about, that musician maturity in a band setting, is something that's learned, that you just kind of figure out as you go, and go, I didn't need to be playing that hard for that whole part, or, oh, the beginning of that bridge just needed to be piano, and then we all build back in again, or even just pad, we all build back in again to really create that moment.
Exactly. That's good.
Yeah. Well, and we had, what's that?
I'm just watching the delay in our video. So
yeah, we both have them here, so that way we can monitor things along the way. We talked about worship pads, so we do have worship pads available that Nolan has created. So he's got, we call it the Red River Ultimate Pad. I forget what it is now, Ultimate Collection or something like that. Yeah. We just thought it was fun because they're pads that we use every week. So we're like, let's make this a fun name. But I use them in worship every single week at Good Shepherd. We use them all the time. Our piano player also does stuff live as well. But the reason I use them for is for the pre-recorded post-production piece, where I add in pads afterwards during the talking to flow into the next song. But we do have those available at redriverworship.com/downloads. And then also there is our digital hymn library, and that's our growing library of lyric videos of hymns. And that's been a growing resource that people are really enjoying and really liking, because again, a lot of churches, I don't know what your story is specifically, but a lot of churches have trouble finding musicians. And we are blessed to be in Fargo and Moorhead, Minnesota, where there's a lot of people, a few colleges. There's a couple colleges that really focus on music. So we've been blessed with the opportunity to have musicians here. But if you're in a tiny town, North Dakota, Minnesota, wherever you're at, it's just hard. And we get that. We understand that. We hear that as a need. So we wanted to help. And so that's kind of where the digital hymn library was created and came from. And if you have any questions about it, feel free to email us first, and we can chat with you about it and see if it would be the right solution for your church. And then we'll go from there.
Absolutely. Well, grateful that you joined us today, and continue to sending us questions, and we will continue giving you answers. God bless everybody.
Sounds good. Thanks, everyone.